Hi, I'm Emily Hopkins, and I'm the Training Program Administrator here at QuaverMusic. I'm excited to dig into this training with you. The purpose of this video is to guide you through the navigation and organization of Quaver curriculum lessons. All you need is an active Quaver teacher account to access these lessons and follow along. Let's get started. Let's begin by clicking the Quaver curriculum icon on the left-hand column of your teacher dashboard. This brings you to your lesson selection menu. From this view, you can easily navigate to any lesson in the curriculum. Depending on what grade levels you teach, you may see slightly different options on this screen. But don't worry, every lesson in the Quaver curriculum works from the same foundation, and by the end of this video, you'll be ready to launch into any of them with your students. First things first, let's take a look at the options here on the lesson selection menu. In the left-hand corner, you'll find the Curriculum Features and Best Practices icon. Behind this button is a collection of resources designed to help you navigate through your Quaver resources and see how they apply to your unique teaching environment. The screen will default to show your Curriculum Features tab. Here, you'll find resources, including scope and sequence for each grade level, ORF and Kodai resources, curriculum maps, standards, and much more. Each button represents a PDF, and clicking it will open that document in a new window where you can print or download it for future use. Click the green Best Practices tab for a different set of PDFs. These resources are intended to help you dig into specific aspects of the Quaver curriculum in more detail. Click any Best Practice guide to open it in a new window with the same options. All right. Let's click the yellow Back to Lessons arrow to return to your lesson selection menu. Notice the Help icon in the top right-hand corner. Here, you can access video training anytime. If you're watching this video, great news! You've already found it. Now, I think we're ready to move on down the page. Let's talk about how to use this menu to navigate your Quaver curriculum. Along the top row, you'll see a button for each grade level of content. Click through the grades to see the lessons below change. Within each grade level, you'll find a full year of lessons, correlated to grade-appropriate concepts and standards. If that seems like a lot, don't worry. You can take each lesson at your own pace and customize it to suit your teaching style. More on that later. Each grade level is divided into 9 lesson blocks, which you can navigate using the second row of buttons. In each lesson block, you'll find 3 modules of 3 lessons. Each module focuses on a general music topic, like instruments, dynamics, or tempo, and builds to an assessment in the 3rd lesson. Let's find our way to a 1st grade lesson on beat. I'll select 1st grade from the top row and select lessons 1 through 9 to see modules on beat, meter, and rhythm. Let's select lesson 1 in the beat module, titled Welcome to Music. When you select a lesson, you'll pull up the lesson summary screen, which is just that, a summary of the lesson. This allows you to see all of the elements inside the lesson in one place. The lesson summary screen defaults to a grid view with a visual image of each activity. If you wish to see it in list view, simply click the bulleted list icon in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Let's check out the buttons on the bottom of the lesson summary screen. The Overview tab explains the purpose of the lesson, offers an essential question, and gives a short description of each screen. The purpose of this lesson is to explore the basics of beat, establish rules and procedures for music class, and prepare students for a successful year ahead. Moving to the right, the Objectives tab highlights the concepts students will learn and master in each lesson. These can easily be translated into I can statements for your students. The blue Lesson Plan tab opens a printable lesson plan in a new tab. This PDF can be downloaded or printed as is, and can even be customized to include more or different information. We'll cover that in a later video. Notice it includes the same purpose and objectives, plus standards, classroom resources, and more. Scroll down to view each activity along with notes detailing suggested activities to meet the lesson's goals. Close that tab to return to your lesson and click Worksheets. Here, we'll see all the associated printable worksheets for the lesson. This lesson includes score and lyric sheets for several songs, a poster for classroom rules, and a pre-assessment for the whole school year. Select any PDF and click Open, and you're ready to download and print. Click Cancel and notice the orange Customize tab. This will open up a world of options for adjusting this lesson to suit your needs. We'll cover that in more detail later on. For now, let's take a look at this lesson as is. Click the green Launch button to launch the lesson in a new tab. Welcome, you made it. You have now successfully launched a Quaver lesson. You're now looking at our lesson plan presenter. This presentation tool is the same across all Quaver lessons and allows you to easily paginate through activities, access lesson notes, and improvise with adaptable widgets on every screen. Let's run through this lesson quickly to familiarize ourselves with the flow and the tools available. Each lesson begins with a welcome screen. You'll notice the key thematic threads being covered in this lesson. These threads go beyond a single set of standards and run throughout the entire curriculum. They are signified by colored rectangles. You'll also see the overview and objectives for the lesson again, as well as keywords for this lesson. The Review tab reminds you of what was covered in the previous lesson. Because this is the first lesson of this module, there is no review. You'll also find a key song from the lesson, ready to play on your welcome screen. You might play this as your students are entering class or as a warm-up. Click the green Play button to play the song. The blue arrow will take you back to the beginning of the song. You can keep the song playing continuously with a repeat icon. When you're ready to get started, you'll use the navigation bar at the bottom of the screen to make your way through the lesson. On the welcome screen, and every screen in the lesson, you'll find the same options here. Starting on the left, you'll see Menu, Previous, the title of the current screen, Next, and Exit. Before we begin the lesson, click Menu, Worksheets, to explore any worksheets associated with this lesson. You can also find these on the Lesson Summary menu. Now, let's check out a few tools that may come in handy at any time. We will explore each of these tools by clicking the Menu button. Click Menu and Tools to find these options in the bottom center of your screen. Select Hide to hide the screen with a single click. Slide the arrows to reveal certain parts of the screen, or click Close to bring back your lesson. This can be useful for regaining focus or revealing a concept or musical piece, one line at a time. Click Tools to reopen your options and access your teacher toolbox, a set of helpful resources you may use in any lesson. The toolbox will open in a new tab. You can close that tab to return to your lesson. Click Student Interactives to quickly launch mobile-friendly activities for student learning. These will also launch in a new tab. Finally, Grade allows you to quickly change the grade level that appears on the welcome screen and the age of the animated students. With those tools in hand, let's click the yellow Next arrow to move on to the first activity in the lesson. If you wish to return to the welcome screen, you can click the previous arrow to go back. You can also select the title of the screen and skip to this at any point in the lesson. However you navigate there, find your way to Screen 2 Make a Circle Song. Each screen in the Quaver curriculum is just a launching off point for you as a teacher. Imagine this screen projected in front of your class, and the options are endless. To find the suggested activity to accompany this screen, click Menu and Notes. These notes are identical to those in the lesson plan, but are repeated here for easy access as you teach. The notes include instructions for using the screen and additional teaching ideas. We recommend using this song as a warm-up, using echo singing to get your first graders in a circle. You might use the song to learn names or introduce sol and mi pitches. Close the notes to return to the screen and click play to begin the song. Like many Quaver screens, that may be all you need to lead an engaging hands-on activity in your classroom with students. The screen is simply a starting point and a tool to facilitate singing, moving, and playing instruments. While the song is playing, however, you might find a use for additional supporting technology in the Widgets section of the lesson. Click Menu, and then Widgets, and we'll take our first look at these tools. Notice along the bottom of your screen, you now see a helpful set of tools: an arrow, a keyboard, a metronome, soundboard, and timer. Click any widget to display it on the screen, then select the icon again to hide that widget. Once a widget is on the screen, you can click and drag it to move it, or click X to close. On this Make a Circle screen, we might add the soundboard. Click Soundboard and drag it to the corner of the screen. Click the white arrow to interact with the screen itself, clicking play to start the song.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Then click the arrow off when your students complete their circle. You might give them a thumbs up, which triggers a round of applause. These Quaver sound effects can add a little encouragement and fun to any screen. Click X to close, and then use Menu and Lesson to return to the lesson. With all the widgets closed, let's move on to our next screen. Click Next to find Screen 3, the Quaver 5. So far in this lesson, we've moved to the beat and learned to get in a circle, important elements of classroom procedures in the first lesson of the year. Now is a great time to introduce our classroom expectations, presented here as the Quaver 5. Remember, you can check the notes by clicking Menu, Notes. There, you'll learn you can use this concept in a number of ways. Click each classroom expectation to learn the melody and movement associated with it, and have students echo and mirror Quaver in response.
Be safe. Be polite. Be cooperative. Be responsible. Be kind.
Select Menu again and notice the mobile icon is available for this screen. Click Mobile, and now a QR code appears for students to access on their own devices. If they are unable to scan the QR, they can go to the web address on the screen and enter the alphanumeric Quaver code. You may wish to partner students up to turn and talk about the Quaver 5. Your timer widget would come in handy here. Click Menu, Widgets, and select the timer. It will default to 10 seconds, but you can set it to a little longer, say 30 seconds, by clicking and typing inside. Select Start to begin the timer, and Reset to start the timer over. Use the countdown and alarm toggles to bring attention to the end of the timer as needed. Click X and use Menu to return to the lesson again. Click Next to come to Screen 4, Welcome to Music. It's time to sing and move to our next Quaver song. Each song you encounter will have the same transport bar controls. Click Play to begin and use the mixer to adjust the track volumes. Turn the highlighting off or on and loop the song if needed. We could spend all day here, but let's move on to Screen 5, Music Room Tour. While you may not have all these resources in your classroom, this is a great chance to talk about the environment around your first graders. It's also a good chance to introduce the Draw tool. If you aren't working with an interactive whiteboard that already has a draw function, you can click Menu and Draw to use your mouse on any screen. Once the Draw tool appears at the bottom of the screen, you can click Color and Size to adjust the marker. Let's use this to circle a few instruments we do have in our classroom. If we make a mistake, select Eraser and drag to remove the markings. Select the eraser icon a second time to turn erasing off and switch back to draw mode. You can also click Undo Last to remove the last line drawn or the last section erased. Clear All removes all drawings from your screen. Great! Let's move on by clicking Menu, Lesson, and Next. You're getting the hang of it now. Screen 6, Jumpin' Jacks, is another great Quaver original song. Click the small yellow next arrow within the lyrics page above the transport controls to paginate through the song before playing. At this point in the lesson, our students are ready to move, and you can see there are lots of opportunities for movement breaks in this piece. After moving and singing along a few times, you might like to focus on the pitches of the song. Your digital keyboard widget could come in handy for that. Click Menu, Widgets, and select the keyboard. Let's say you want to make sure students are singing the correct pitches on the opening line of Jumpin' Jacks. Pull up the keyboard widget and play the notes G, E, G, having students match the pitch before jumping in. There are clearly a lot of other options here to explore, with various types of synthesized sound waves and adjustable octaves. Remember, these widgets are available on any screen in the curriculum, and they can even be saved to this screen to appear every time you access the lesson. For example, if I wanted to save the keyboard widget on this screen so it comes up next time I open the lesson, I'll simply click the green Save button. Next time I open the lesson, I'll click Widgets, and the keyboard will be right there where I left it. Boom chicka boom! After Jumpin' Jacks, we see our key song again on screen 7, Welcome to Music. Now that students are familiar with the song, you might take it a step further. Our notes recommend grabbing rhythm sticks, but you might also wish to bring in some classroom technology. With students in pairs, they could work to recognize the red and black parts of the song. Click Menu and Mobile to generate a QR code which students can scan from any tablet device. Students on Chromebooks can also access the content by entering the unique code on the screen into their browser. We found this is the easiest and quickest way to send resources to student devices, and it's available on many screens throughout your curriculum. Clicking Next again brings us to Screen 8, What did we learn today? And the end of about 30 to 45 minutes of lesson content. At this point in each Quaver lesson, you'll find a summary screen that reviews the day's objectives. Click each objective to highlight, and click the play button to hear a round of applause for you and your students. You can even review the overview and keywords. Click the title of the screen to view the lesson in full, and notice that this isn't the end of what's available to you. Depending on your class structure and schedule, you may wish to skip around or extend the lesson to an additional class meeting. After the summary screen, you'll find an additional 30 to 45 minutes of extended content. Click Screen 9, Beat Simon Says to check it out. This is a simple screen, but it offers many opportunities to reinforce the day's lesson. Our notes suggest a game of Simon Says, where the students keep a steady beat on a drum or with body percussion while you play the role of Simon, changing where they put the beat with verbal cues. You might wish to add a literacy component to this activity by adding key terms to the screen, such as head, feet, hands, etc. Click Menu and Text, then click anywhere on the activity screen. This will open a new text box and allow you to type into that field. Use the buttons across the bottom of the screen to edit the currently selected text box as needed. You can change the style of your active text box from header to bold or regular. You can change the color of both the text and the background of the text box by switching between the text and the paint bucket tabs. Adjust the size of the text by simply dragging the slider left or right. You can adjust the size of the box by clicking and dragging the side of the box, and can move it around the screen by selecting anywhere in the box, dragging and dropping. And border allows you to set whether the active text box should have a small blue box border or have no border. Repeat this to add a few key terms. Click Save to save all text boxes you would like to keep for future use. To remove one box, simply select it and click Remove. And finally, click Clear All to remove all text boxes visible on the screen. As your students move through this activity, you might wish to increase the tempo of your cues. Our digital metronome could come in handy. Click Menu and Widgets, then select the metronome. You can change the tempo of the metronome by selecting the left and right arrows, or by entering a tempo number, beats per minute, into the box. The corresponding tempo marking term will be displayed on the metronome. You can change the sound of the click by selecting the sound box and choosing a different option. To hear the click, press the play button. A visual blinking metronome beat will be displayed in the blue light area. While several of our interactive screens have a metronome or backing track available, you never know when you might need to do a quick tempo check while doing an activity. The metronome widget is for such an occasion. Let's close out of our widgets by selecting Menu, Lesson, and look briefly at the rest of the extension activities for this lesson. Click Next to see Screen 10, an audio playlist of songs to help students practice finding the steady beat. Screen 11 offers a chance to reinforce students' ability to keep a steady beat while singing the folk song Skip to My Lou. And Screen 12 offers a digital pre-assessment for the first grade school year. This assessment can be given as a whole class exercise with the printable answer sheet, or can be delivered digitally to student accounts. We'll cover that in a later video. Finally, click Next one more time to round out the lesson with Screen 13, Classical Connections. Here, you'll find a collection of classical pieces selected to help illustrate the musical concept of beat. These screens are included in each module to help introduce classical music across the curriculum. Congratulations! You made it to the end of the first grade lesson on beat. We crammed a lot into that lesson, much more than you would probably do with your students. But we wanted you to be familiar with all the tools available to you in each Quaver lesson. Whether you teach straight through using only the notes, or go nuts with widgets and text boxes, these curriculum lessons are designed to work for you and allow you to improvise as needed. A few final tips about the draw, text, and widget functions we've been exploring. 1. When using draw, text, and widgets, you can always return to interacting with the activity on the screen by selecting the white cursor icon. Click the cursor again to reactivate the widget in use. 2. All draw, text, and widget items will remain on the screen until you select Menu and Lesson to remove them. 3. At any time, you can choose to save what you create with the draw, text, and widget tools. It is worth noting that if you save something with each of these tools, you will pull up all of the saved items by selecting any one of the 3. And finally, you have one more trick up your sleeve. You can pull up a blank screen when using any of these tools by switching the blank toggle to on, and use the screen as a virtual whiteboard to make notes, draw diagrams, and anything else you need to make the lesson your own. To exit the lesson, simply select the Exit button at the bottom right of the screen. Okay, now you know how to navigate through the Quaver curriculum lessons. Be sure to take a look at our other video training courses in this module to learn more. For more information or assistance, visit help.quavermusic.com or give our customer service team a call.